Hey guys, how you doing? Tekking here, still in London, still rocking the Ace hoodie, still trapped in the nether zone. Time passes for you, but not for me! Okay, anyway, today's video we're going to be talking about Hunter x Hunter from the perspective of 2017 Tekking, when I didn't really watch Hunter x Hunter all that much. In fact, I think it was right around the time I made this video, probably the reason I made it, when I just started getting into Hunter x Hunter. I remember it took me a long time to get through the Hunter exam arc, because on top of it, like, not being one of the strongest arcs in the series from my perspective, it's also just for a introductory arc in a series, it's pretty beefy. It's a pretty long arc, right? But eventually got through it and then it really picked up pace from there. By the time we got to Heaven's Arena and then York knew, I was sold on Hunter x Hunter, right? It's also interesting because when I'm discussing this video, I think I originally titled as The Future of Hunter x Hunter, what with all the hiatuses, but this was like 3 hiatuses ago. This was like 2017 hiatus, all right? So we actually have gotten like at least a good 30 chapters since this video came out, like 7 or 8 years ago. So, we've made progress in the series. But yeah, this is 2017 Tekking talking about Hunter x Hunter. Enjoy.
Hey everybody, Tekking 101 here, and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Now, this week we're going to be discussing Hunter x Hunter. It just came off a hiatus in the last issue of Shonen Jump, so I thought this would be a good chance to discuss not really the series, because I already did that last year in an episode of The 3, but rather I want to discuss the future of Hunter x Hunter and what this is really going to mean going forward, because it's sort of become a joke if you're a fan of this series, even if you're not a fan of this series, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't start reading Hunter x Hunter and watching the anime about like 2016. That's when I started getting into it. But even before that, long before that, I knew it was also known as hiatus, ex-hiatus, and how it, the Togashi goes away for several months, possibly even over a year, until he comes back, gives us a few chapters, and then the chapters go away, another hiatus, and that's the way it's been for so long. In fact, there's even people that make dedicated charts to really interpreting in just a visual sense exactly how apparent these hiatuses are. You could see that from when the series began serialization in Shonen Jump from 1998 all the way up to 2005, it was spotty in terms of release, but hey, not every single, issue of Shonen Jump is going to have a new chapter. Oda with One Piece goes on breaks all the freaking time, so that's understandable. And Togashi crams a lot more stuff into his chapters, a lot more dialogue in the stuff than a common shonen manga does. So up until 2005, we're doing good. Right at the end of 2005, we have a break up till to the beginning of 2006, and then there's a few chapters that get released, but then after that, it just goes full hiatus for over a year, where we don't get to see new chapters until like the end of 2007. So that's from like spring '06 to December '07, and then after that, it's been very sporadic. No matter what happens, the hiatus always occurs. Now, what is the reason because of this? Is it because Togashi is just lazy? No, it isn't. The most common reason that Togashi always goes on hiatus is because of health issues. Now, if you're a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, which was Togashi's work before Hunter x Hunter, well, he did a few like one-shot things, in between Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, but like for his major works, the ones that are really famous, it goes Yu Yu Hakusho and then Hunter x Hunter. Yu Yu Hakusho, man, toward the end of that series, Togashi was drained. I mean, he was gone. Like, there's this letter that he wrote at the end of Yu Yu Hakusho, and if you read it, you really feel for the dude. How hard it was to just make the last arc. He suffers from back problems and a lot of issues. His health was degrading in a major way by the end of that. So, he really did push himself to, like, death's door to finish Yu Yu Hakusho. So probably going into Hunter x Hunter, he didn't want to do that. If he ever felt like he was getting sick or if this was too much for him, he was probably just going to be like, okay, no, I can't keep pushing myself until I eventually die from doing this. The job of a mangaka is never easy, particularly one that is very famously published in Shonen Jump. You would think the ones that are like, oh yeah, Oda, who makes One Piece, the largest, published, not the largest published. I mean, you would think the life of a mangaka and the job of a mangaka, The job in the life of a mangaka is never easy, especially one that is a very popular series, like Oda creating One Piece, week after week after week. I mean, I'm sure Shueisha and Shonen Jump maybe give him a little bit of liberty with the breaks he takes and everything. They don't want their cash cow to burn out too quickly. But it's not easy on a lot of these guys to, draw these series like week after week after week. And in Togashi's case, I guess he decided, you know what, I'm not going to kill myself doing this, and he went on hiatus several times. Now, he's gone on hiatus quite a bit. This wasn't just like a thing where it's happened once or twice. This has happened a lot. So this happens so many times, people start thinking, oh, well, maybe health is part of it, but maybe other reasons. Maybe he's getting tired of the story. Maybe he is getting burnt out. Everyone knows that Togashi is a big gamer. He's a huge video game fan. I think Dragon Age is one of his favorite titles, and I think there was one time when a hiatus began right when the new Dragon Age game was released, and it was like, So there's a lot of theories behind, why this is. The way I look at it is this. As someone that just started reading Hunter x Hunter rather recently, and I just got caught up, like, really recently. I started reading and getting into the story in 2016. It was only, like, a few months ago that I finally got caught up to the entire series, like, where we are right now in the manga. And I will give it one thing. All these different hiatus that occur, they suck for the fans that are trying to stay up to date with the manga, because you get all caught up and you're like, awesome, and then another hiatus, and then it comes back, and it's like, it's back, and then 10 chapters later, it's another hiatus. But for someone like me, who, had heard about this series for years and years, like, I remember when this was published in American Shonen Jump. I remember back when American Shonen Jump had, like, a physical release of a volume, that was basically just, like, a trimmed down copy of the original Shonen Jump from Japan, because the original Shonen Jump that's actually sold in Japan, it's like the size of a phone book. It's huge. What they did in America is they trimmed it down to, like, the most popular titles in America, like One Piece, Dragon Ball, Bleach, Naruto. When Hunter x Hunter was finally deciding to come to the States, they had a special chapter release for that. This was probably maybe like 2005, 2006, something like that. I remember reading that. And I was interested in the first chapter, but, I was like a teenager. I didn't have a lot of money to run out and go buy all the tankobons. And from where I stand right now, it's actually kind of hard to get your hands on Hunter x Hunter tankobons just in the area where I'm at. Like, every time I go to a Barnes & Noble or a bookstore, I can't find very many of them. I was at an anime convention a few days ago, and they had, like, this giant manga library, and they didn't even have really any real copies of Hunter x Hunter. They only had, like, one or two. So, it's kind of hard to get the tankobons. Now, of course, you could always read this stuff online, but I didn't have, like, good internet back then. The point is, I remember reading this series, like, over 10 years ago, and we're not really all that far into it at this point, so you can get caught up is my point, basically. Like, if you're ever going to get caught up on Hunter x Hunter, it's a great series to just start getting into whenever, because odds are it's probably going to go on hiatus again, and that'll give you plenty of time to get caught up with the story. In terms of, like, individual chapters, they are very long at certain points, because there's a lot of detail, a lot of freaking dialogue and inner dialogue and everything, and you know what? That's not a bad thing. The cool thing about Hunter x Hunter, I have to say, is despite all these different hiatuses and everything that Togashi has going for him and everything, Shonen Jump still publishes it in the magazine. Fans still love it. We, as the fandom, want to see this completed. But the way you look at it, and considering that it's been on this hiatus train for the better part of a decade, over a decade, really, if this began in 2006, like, is this ever actually going to be finished at the pace we're going? And to those of you that don't know, this isn't going to be heavy spoilers, but we just basically started a new arc. We started a new arc of Hunter x Hunter not very long ago that is, supposed to be the big arc. The arc that's going to be like, whoa, those kind of arcs in manga. We just started it. And it seems like, you just finished a giant meal at a restaurant, and they're like, oh man, I can't finish anymore. And then they just give you an entire, like, new plate of food, and it's like, oh, are you ever going to be able to finish this? You're just getting started on something so big. Where's this going to go from here? Just to give you an idea of this year, Hunter x Hunter came off a hiatus back in June. 10 chapters we got. Then it went back on hiatus in August. Now, this was a little different, though, because whenever it came off a hiatus last year in 2017, it came with an announcement from Togashi where he basically said, like, thanks to my doctors and therapy and everything, I've basically solved my back problems, so I'm back. And everyone thought, like, oh my god, that's great, Togashi's back, he fixed his health problems, he'll be able to draw manga again, we'll be able to get regular releases of Hunter x Hunter, we'll finally be able to finish this story, maybe. Unfortunately, we only got the 10 chapters, then it went back on hiatus. But it was basically like, look, it's going to come back. It's going to come back rather soon. And it did. And it did. As opposed to a lot of other, the hiatus that lasted months or sometimes over a year, this one only lasted, September, October, November, about 5 months. About 5 months from the end of August to now, at the end of January, when the new chapter was just released. And the new chapter, once again, no spoilers, but the new chapter of Hunter x Hunter did introduce a lot of interesting new concepts for this new arc, but the fact is the arc is just beginning, and there's just so much more that he foreshadowed and then he set up. It really has me worried, guys. It really has me concerned of... It's not an issue with, like, One Piece. Like, with One Piece, I genuinely feel like the clicks that Oda is going with it, the pace of the story, the way he has things set out, the way that the rate he's releasing chapters, I have no doubt in my mind One Piece will be able to be, completed, in the way that Oda envisions, unless there's like a freak accident or something, and let's just hope that doesn't happen. But barring that, like, freak act of God, I think One Piece will be completed the way that Oda intends. Will that be in 5 years or 10 years or longer? I don't know, but I think it will definitely be finished. But Hunter x Hunter, it's really got me concerned, guys. It's seriously got me concerned, especially with, it's one of the worst things that could happen. Well, it's a worse thing in general whenever an author, passes away or has some debilitating medical illness or something where they can't continue their work anymore. It sucks because they're a human being that's in a great deal of turmoil, or they've passed away, or just because this thing that is adored by, millions of people just will never be finished. I was a fan of a High School of the Dead. Now, High School of the Dead was not like some grandiose, like, masterpiece. It wasn't like something that just blew you away, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty decent manga. I thought the art style was really good, the story was great, but I believe there was an artist and a writer, and I believe the writer of that story, he passed away, so we're never going to get to see the end of that story, and it always leaves you feeling kind of wanting at the end of it, like, oh... damn, it's never going to be finished. Now, I'm not saying, I'm just saying worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, if these hiatuses continue, or if he just decides, what, I just don't think I can do this anymore, and it's just, or maybe he might feel like, I don't think I'll ever be able to finish this, and that'll be it. With that being said... I look at the anime, right? The anime of Hunter x Hunter and the way that ended. Of course, there was a 1999 anime, and then there was a 2011 anime. The 2011 anime ends on a very kind of optimistic note, with not every plot point in the series being addressed, because the series wasn't technically over yet, just the anime ending, so they had to pull it together and have a good anime ending. But that was something that really... It at least added a little bit of closure to me. And it kind of set it up so it's like, oh, there's so much more wonders in the world, and that kind of leaves it up to the viewer or the reader, depending on, like, oh, okay, so that's the spirit of Hunter x Hunter, that's the spirit of Gon and going on his adventures, and that's the spirit of the series, and there you go. So basically what I'm trying to get across here is that if you are like me and you're dubious as to whether or not the manga of this series is ever going to get an actual conclusion, the ending of the anime, I think I'm good with that. I'm happy with the way that is, and I feel like the way that because Madhouse did the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime, they did a fantastic job, by the way, and it's currently running on Toonami as an English dub, which I also enjoy. I feel like when they got to the end of where they were going to, cap off the anime at the end of the 13th Hunter Chairman arc, I think they felt a little bit like, this might never be finished, so let's give them kind of an ending that's kind of, not cemented, like here's the absolute end, but let's just give them some kind of closure. Let's give them some sort of like nice little note to end the series on, and that's what they did, and they did a great job of that. Of course, the anime was adapted from a chapter of the manga. It's not like they just invented it, but the way it was presented and like the music that plays and like the ending of this journey, that was a very kind of big closure there, as opposed to just the manga chapter. But anyway, hey, maybe this time will be different. Maybe this is when Hunter x Hunter will stay with Shonen Jump. I mean, there'll still be a break now and then, like any manga is, but maybe it will continue all the way to the end. And we can always keep that, fingers crossed. But with the track record with the last 10 years, I gotta say, I'm not really feeling it. But best case scenario, I hope it's not rushed. I hope it's not just like something thrown at the last minute, like, well, I just need to end this, so here you go. And it's probably going to take a very long time. Even if, let me put it this way, with the way this arc is shaping up to be, like what it's supposed to be, even if Togashi released a chapter as frequently as like Oda does with One Piece and keeps it up, it would still be over, several years before this finished if it was done correctly. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but maybe we will. Maybe Togashi will have everything ready to go this time. I hope so. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking 101 signing out. I had a hunter license here, and I didn't get a chance to use it in the video. So, hunter license. Also, this is Gon's Paladin necklace from Greed Island that I got off Etsy, so that's pretty neat. I'm also doing some Hunter x Hunter content on my channel. I was on hiatus with that, so maybe there's like a curse of Hunter x Hunter, Togashi's curse, where I started to do Hunter x Hunter content, then I stopped, but I'll be coming back with it soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking 101, signing out.